This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
Yes, indeed. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. November 2024, the off season. The long, cold, lonely winter. Do you miss baseball yet? I do. I miss the constant, continual opportunity every day to live and die a little with the Yankees. But on the other hand, I kind of am enjoying the fact that my evenings are not consumed by baseball and I can do other things with my life, like write about baseball and write about other things. And speaking of writing, let's all remember that this program is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia Publishing is an outstanding traditional publisher who publishes a ton of great books, including my wonderful book, 365.2, Going the Distance, A Runner's Journey. Of course, they also published Roy White, From Compton to the Bronx, and The Least Among Them, 3 of my books, all published by Artemisia Publishing. Check out Artemisia at apbooks.net. All right, so of course you can catch all your Yankee coverage throughout the season and throughout the off season on the greatest Yankee site out there, bar none, startspreadingthenews.blog. If you have not ever gone to startspreadingthenews.blog, you're missing out on great Yankee coverage. All right, my dear friends, let's make today a great day. How do you make your day great? Simple. You look for the good. When you find the good, you take the time to appreciate it and then perpetuate it. When we give love, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. If you give kindness, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. If you give respect and understanding and empathy, all of those things, they come back to us in greater amounts than we ever give. My dear friends, make the most of every day by looking for and appreciating the good. And if you can't find any good, which I think is impossible because there is good, even in our darkest times, even in the worst possible days, there is good. If you can't find any, well, then make some. Do something nice for somebody else. So I thought today might be a good day. Whoops, let's keep the banner up there. I thought today might be a good day for us to do a little dreaming. Dream, 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 dream. I was going to sing it, but I thought better because, well, there are many things I might be able to do rather well. One thing I do not do well is sing. So I decided, let's not do that for the audience. They'd say, oh, you know, that was the last time I'm ever going to watch the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. What I want to do is just take the opportunity. We spend a lot of time breaking down what happens with the Yankees. I spend a lot of time looking at, well, unfortunately, the Yankees haven't won a World Series in a long time. So looking at all the reasons why they're not winning World Series. And instead of going that route, I thought it might be fun if I just took a step back and did some dreaming. If I owned the Yankees, and if Hal wants to give the Yankees to me, I think I would graciously accept. If I owned the Yankees, if I ran the team, if I was the ultimate decision maker for the New York Yankees, what would I do this off season to make the team better? I'm not saying any of these things are going to happen. I'm not saying any of these things are going to happen. But if I were dreaming and I were designing the Yankees for 2025, these are some of the moves I would make. This is how I would build my team. So we'll start behind the plate. We'll start with catcher. In my dream world, Austin Wells figures out whatever made him slump from the beginning of September right through the playoffs and into the World Series. He figures it out. He gets his swing. The Yankees have a competent coaching staff in my dream that can actually help the players improve. And Austin Wells becomes my catcher. It's ironic with Wells, isn't it, that the big scouting report on him, the information we were given before he ever made it to the majors was he's really not a defensive catcher. He is a masher, and he could probably hit big league pitching already. And what turns out to be the case, at least in this past season, he is a very good defensive catcher. He does great back there. It's the hitting that's a problem. Now, I've talked about this a lot over the years, and I'll make a quick mention of it right now. Yankee fans, like fans of all sports especially, but I only interact primarily with Yankee fans. Every year they get gung-ho on a prospect, on this is the guy or those are the guys. And they go all in and they tell everybody how smart they are and how much they know because these guys are going to be great. I don't know why so many fans jump on those bandwagons so often, because they fall off those bandwagons just as quickly. Here's a name, Everson Pereira. A year and a half ago, even last year, people were saying he is going to be an impact player. He is going to be the guy the Yankees need. The Yankees ought to call him up. No, nobody mentions him. So many people were on the Pereira train. Oh my goodness, he is the next great player of all time. And then no. And instead of taking the time to reflect and go, my goodness, I believed in Jose Tabata, and I believed in Greg Bird, and I believed in Clint Frazier, and I believed in Miguel Andujar, and I believed in Oswald Peraza, and I believed in Everson Pereira and Estevan Florial and Jesus Montero. I mean, we could go on forever. They never do that. They never do that. They get all excited about Spencer Jones or Everson Pereira. And then, like you suggest, maybe I should trade some of those guys for a real quality, proven major leaguer. And you get this shock and this pushback. Like, How could you possibly, in your right mind, ever suggest that the Yankees might be better off by trading this guy who I hadn't heard of 10 minutes ago, but who I now believe fervently in, for, I don't know, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Cy Young, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, Satchel Paige, and Christy Mathewson all rolled up into one. How could you possibly trade Everson Pereira for somebody like that, right? It's funny. We get so hung up on the prospects and they flame out. And then so many just jump immediately to the next prospect. No. I was wrong about the last 72 guys, but we're never mentioning them again. Don't mention that ever again. I'm not going to ever admit that I thought those guys were good. I'm right about this guy. And then it turns totally different, right? Anyway, so the scouting report on Austin Wells is an exact opposite, at least his performance, of what we were told. Why does this happen so often? Because most fans, most of the time, I'd say 99.9% of the fans, 99.9% of the time, only know these players by the names they read about online and in reports from other writers, other fans, whomever, and then they buy in 100%. They double down and triple down and they go, that's the guy. But 99% of the fans, 99% of the time, have never seen these guys play. And they've never, I'd say 100% of the fans, 100% of the time, have never seen any of these guys play for an extended period of time. Hey, I went to a weekend out in Wilkes-Barre and I saw the guy play 3 times. That really doesn't count. If you saw Aaron Judge play for any random 3 games of the postseason, you'd be of the mind that he's a terrible baseball player. 3 games proves nothing. Anyway, my other catcher would not be Jose Trevino. I like Jose Trevino. I like all these guys. Sometimes people go, how could you not like him? How can you hate on him? I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just saying I don't think Jose Trevino is the answer as the backup catcher. So if I'm dreaming up the Yankees, my catcher is Austin Wells, and I'm finding another catcher to back him up. I don't know who that'll be. Now, here's where the dreaming becomes fun. If I'm the Yankees, I'm looking across the border into Toronto for first base, and I see this guy. There were rumors about the Yankees getting him last year, and I talked a lot about it. He's in the last year of his contract. He's on a team that is not going to contend. That team could quickly rebuild with lots of these prospects that they should know about because that's their job. And I make a nice big package. But as EJ mentioned on the Start Spreading the News podcast, which airs Monday nights at 9, it doesn't have to be a crazy big package because he's going to be a free agent. But I make a very nice, appealing package to the Toronto Blue Jays. And I shore up that number 4 spot in my batting order with Vlad Guerrero Jr. I probably at that point flipped my lineup a little bit too. I moved Judge back to 2. I'm not a big fan of Judge batting in that spot, but that seemed to be the thing the Yankees had done for so many years. Put Soto 3rd and Vladdy 4th. You go righty, lefty, righty. Not with those guys that it really matters a whole lot, but that's what I would do there. So if I'm the Yankees of 2025, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is my first baseman. Now, I'm going to go back on what I just said a moment ago. At second base, I am a businessman. I own the New York Yankees. I'm not just going to waste my money everywhere. At second base, I think I give Caleb Durbin a shot. Now, I saw him play 1 game in my whole life, and he wasn't all that impressive, but I don't put any stock in that 1 game. I wasn't watching closely. I was at a game in Allentown where the Red Barons, or the Rail Riders, dating myself, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, the Yankee team, were playing the Allentown Iron Pigs, the Philly team. Durbin played in that game. I watched from the stands, but I also walked around and explored the stadium. I got some food to eat. I spent time with my wife and my son and my daughter-in-law. And as exciting as the Yankees are, big leaguers, minor leaguers, all of them, there were two people at the game that, to me, were a lot more exciting than anybody on the baseball team. And that, of course, those people, of course, were my grandchildren. So they were at their first ever baseball game. They were like 3.5 months old, maybe 4 months. And they got all my attention. But everybody seems to think Durbin might be able to be a big league second baseman. And so in order to save some money, Gleyber Torres goes away. We've done the Gleyber Torres experiment for far too long. I think he was a better player than we'll all remember. But the gaffes, the mental mistakes, the routine plays where he makes an error, the long extended slumps, it's enough. And I think the qualifying offer is over $20 million. I'm not bringing back Gleyber Torres for over $20 million. No way. I bring in Durbin. I save a little money right there. If he can't do it, I've got Jazz Chisholm over there at third base, who I could move over to second. And I could work out a deal and try to get a third baseman. Don't quite know who that would be because right now I'm putting my eggs in the basket of Jazz Chisholm at third. But also, if Durbin doesn't work out, I do have two backups, two pretty good backup plans. Neither one really terrifically great, but both solid backup plans. I've got Oswald Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera, who could fill in, at either of those spots. My shortstop would be Anthony Volpe. Andy Singer wrote a great article a few days ago on Start Spreading the News about what Volpe needs to do to refine his swing. I'm going to trust that the Yankees know what to do to refine his swing. He's a decent fielding shortstop. And this year is his chance. It's year 3. I mean, if he can't hit by 3 full years in the major leagues, it's time to start thinking about a different answer. So around the infield, from catcher to third base, we've got Wells, Guerrero, Durbin, Volpe, and Chisholm. Not the greatest infield of all time, but I think I like it. Now my outfield. Now that's going to be quite interesting, my outfield. I'm going to shock a lot of people here because I'm going to go against what I said in the past, at least to start. My left fielder, I think, again, it's time to fish or cut bait. We can't keep saying that Jason Dominguez is the up-and-coming outfielder. In 2025, it's got to be Jason Dominguez. The center fielder, then, to start the year, I wouldn't put Dominguez in center to start. By default, then, has to be Aaron Judge. It has to be. Who else could go there? My long-term goal would be to flip-flop Judge and Dominguez. And part of my thinking is I'd almost rather have Juan Soto in left field and put Aaron Judge back in right field where he has shown throughout his career. I'll put Aaron Judge back where he's his best, and that's in right field. I would like that to somehow be part of my long-term plan. But Judge plays center. Dominguez gets 300 at-bats. I'm not putting him right in the middle of the lineup. I have Vladdy Guerrero to take some of that pressure off. And of course, I re-sign Juan Soto to play right field. Now, DH is a problem. If I'm the Yankees, I would do everything in my power to find a way to trade Giancarlo Stanton. I've always been a big Stanton fan. I've always liked him. I'm one of the few people that will admit that I was all in when the Yankees traded for him. That's another interesting thing. You watch the fan reactions to Stanton. When they got him, yeah, great. When he stunk, yeah, I was against that trade. When he's great in the playoffs, yeah, Yankees did a great job getting him. When he stinks during the season, the Yankees should have never gotten him. Right? It depends on what the situation is. They're either all in for him, they love him. Look, I wanted the Yankees to get him. They got him. That was a great deal when they got him. I thought it was great. I thought it was going to be a continuation of the Yankees getting great players. I thought the next guy was Harper. We've been down that road a million times. We don't have to cover it again. But Stanton's been a disappointment. He's had some big postseason numbers and some big postseason moments, but he hasn't been able to deliver a world championship yet, even with all his postseason heroics, even with all those postseason home runs. I think the Yankees would be better served if he wasn't a Yankee anymore. He's injured a lot. He cannot move. His running, I mean, why Luis Rojas sent him home in a World Series game? Why you try to send Giancarlo Stanton home on a single to left field from second base? I mean, this is the problem with the Yankees, is they just don't operate with any logic. But anyway, love Stanton. I think he's a fun guy. I think he's a classy guy. I think he's a stand-up guy. He's never run away from reporters. When he hasn't done well, he's always faced the music. He's always stood up. But it's time for the Yankees to move on from Stanton. If you have to keep Stanton and you're keeping that left-right lineup right through the middle, I guess I would go Judge, Soto, Guerrero, and then one of either Chisholm or Wells, probably Wells, and then Stanton. And, that's a pretty impressive lineup. I said last year, lots of times before the season, I have less of a problem with Stanton if he's your number 7 hitter than if he's your number 4 hitter. So if the Yankees keep him and he's your number 7 hitter, I'm okay with it. Still not thrilled? I'm okay with it. Then I think I'd bat Chisholm and Dominguez. And I guess, or you lead off Chisholm, but he doesn't really walk a lot. I'm not really thrilled with Volpe as your leadoff hitter. I think it puts too much pressure on him. He has not been able to do it, and they keep trying it. The problem with Volpe, and I was glad Andy Singer wrote this in his article as well. I mentioned it in early July that I think the numbers were he walked 3 times in the month of June. I said, that's a problem. You have to be able to take walks. Taking walks is a skill. And so many others said, whoa, you're crazy. The guy doesn't walk enough. And then you get the obnoxious comments when he hits a home run or he gets a double as he's hitting 212 or whatever at the time. And the Yankees get a run. Hey, he should have walked. Somebody wrote that when he hit the grand slam in the in the World Series. Hey, Volpe should have walked. I mean, it's just silly. It's a dumb talking point. It's silly. It doesn't build any conversation. It just makes the whole thing ridiculous. Of course, a grand slam is better than a walk. One is not the equivalent of the other, and one does not mean that the other isn't legitimate. The guy doesn't walk enough. He has to find a way to get on base because his game is speed and stealing bases and disrupting the defense and the pitcher. And if he's not hitting, he needs to get on base by taking pitches and walking. And then you get these arguments. Well, they were throwing him strikes. Really? They're that good. Every single pitcher he faced, from aces to the last guy in the bullpen, over an entire month or so of the season. Every one of those pitchers is so good that they didn't walk anybody. They don't walk anybody. They just threw him strikes. Really? Those pitchers are that good? I don't. You just get these arguments. You got that same argument with Judge in the playoffs. Oh, they're just pitching him well. Every single pitcher? Every single guy? The guy who's throwing the 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle straight, and Judge is swinging through it? Oh, they're just making 2 good pitches on him. They're just he's facing great pitchers. No, he's not. Like, let's just tell the truth. When Judge was doing terribly, he was doing terribly. He was all off. It was not a good look. It was not good. And I'm sure he's miserable right now. My goodness, Aaron Judge is one of the great players on this planet. And he just had a miserable couple of weeks in the playoffs. And he dropped the routine fly ball that led to the Yankees losing. That's terrible. You have to hope that he's saying, oh, my goodness, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best player I can be next year, even better than I've ever been, so that I can lead this team to a World Series and we can put all that ugly stuff in the past. Right? All right. My goodness. Good stuff. So that's how I'd build the Yankees. Wells, Guerrero, Durbin, Volpe, Chisholm, Dominguez, Judge, Soto, and I think I'd be stuck with Stanton. But if I'm batting him lower in the order, it's not so bad. I think I'd be looking at guys like Carlos Santana, who years ago I had this whole big plan and he was going to be my first baseman. That didn't work out. I think he hit like 100th that year too. It's funny he's still around. But the Yankees also need to get guys like that who are good off the bench, like in the days of Chili Davis and Darryl Strawberry and Tim Raines, etc. And the Yankees have been good. They've had a good deep bench, and they just haven't done that for many years. Didn't quite get around to the pitching staff, but the thing I would do to enhance my starting rotation is I would sign Corbin Burnes, absolutely. And Garrett Cole is coming back. I would not extend him. I would say, buddy, show me what you got for a couple years, and then maybe we'll extend you. We can give you a year-to-year thing like we did with CC or Andy Pettit. At the end of your career, we'd be happy to do that. But I'm not extending you. No way. And I'm bringing in another big-time ace to help take the burden off of him. And if a guy like Blake Snell is available for a year again, I go kick Blake Snell as well. And now I've got 3 top pitchers at the top of my rotation. Hey, I own the team. It's my money. All right, my friends. Thanks for talking Yankee baseball with me. I'll be back again Monday night, 9 p.m. with the great E.J. Fagan. We'll be talking about Yankee moves and Yankee hopes and Yankee dreams and all sorts of good stuff. Have yourselves a happy and wonderful weekend. There's just one last chance for all of you to donate to the Sesame Workshop. As you know, I ran the New York City Marathon to support the Sesame Workshop. I have a picture here real fast. Where is it? Me and Elmo. There we are. There it is. You can go to Start Spreading the News, find that picture, click that picture, and see if you can find it in your heart to give a couple of dollars to support wonderful programming for children, the Sesame Workshop. Have yourselves a wonderful, terrific, and fantastic day. Thanks for watching.